Hi guys,
I'm Drishti.
and I'm Aveen, and welcome back to Let's Go LO.
Today's episode is a back to school episode where we're going to be talking about a major topic: changes in cell phone usage at school. Basically, for those who don't know, the Lake Oswego School District recently adopted a new cell phone policy just this August, stating that kids are not allowed to use their phones at all throughout the school day, including breaks such as lunch. Originally, students, at least in secondary schools, were unable to use their phones during class, but able to have them out during their free time.
Now, from the first bell to the last bell, if a student's phone is seen or heard, it will be taken and held by the school after a general warning. The message from the board is that this policy will create a more engaging learning environment for the school community.
Just as a reminder, I'm from Lake Ridge and Aveen is from Lake Oswego High, so we've heard thoughts and opinions from both sides of the lake. We are sure that everyone has their own opinions, but we've asked some anonymous students in the community to share and give us their thoughts.
One student from Lake Oswego High School said, quote, "I think the cell phone ban is okay. It has its pros and cons. I feel like it does help with the learning environment and I have talked to people more, but I liked being able to use my phone during lunch, so I feel like that part is unnecessary." End quote.
I can get why it feels that way, and it's definitely a big change compared to before. It's understandable that some students appreciated having a break with their phones in the middle of the day, just like taking a pause away from, the hustle of school.
Yeah, it's also just a habit that we've all developed over time, and I think that it's difficult for everyone to break it. For example, the other day I walked into school and I was still holding my phone because I'm just so used to it at this point. Like, luckily, I realized and I turned it off and put it away in my backpack before someone saw and took it away. But yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's really hard to remind yourself to keep it away just because we're so used to it. Another student from Lake Oswego High School said, quote, "The new phone policy lessens the amount of distractions that students face on a daily basis. As a result of less distractions occurring, I think that it will increase students' grade point average." End quote.
I mean, I've definitely felt more focused on my schoolwork and I've found myself trying to get things done and off my to do list during things like break and during downtime at school so that I have more time at home. Whereas a year ago, I'd probably just be scrolling away.
Yeah.
You just like you don't really feel like you're missing out on anything either because everyone's in the same boat. Literally everyone has their phone off. And I definitely still think that the new policy can be very difficult for some people to adapt to just because of how reliant many students, including ourselves, have grown to be when it comes to phones. But I do think that we can find comfort in knowing that, like I said, everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes, like, in the middle of the day, I have no urge to reach for my phone because, like, not being on it for that long anyways means I don't have anything to do on it. It's, this feeling is, like, especially nice during my free periods because otherwise, instead of using that time that I have to do work, I'd just be scrolling and, not doing my work.
Exactly. Another student from Lake Ridge said, quote, "I don't really mind the new policy and I think it does work better for academics because phones are very distracting. Not being able to use them at lunch at all or even being able to check the time or my schedule can be a little frustrating." End quote.
Yeah, I know that some people got kind of annoyed during the first couple of days of school because figuring out schedules in classrooms was kind of hard. Luckily, our school, and I think Avian's did too,
Mhm.
our school printed out everyone's schedule so that they had paper versions to follow along and find classes with.
Yeah.
And just recently, I think that schools put up some new clocks in the hallways, which I'm super grateful for because I can just like look up in the hallway and see the time. Especially sometimes when I miss the bell and I'm unsure about like when I'm supposed to get to class, the clocks are really nice when I don't have my phone.
Yeah, my school did that too. And I definitely feel like it's very helpful because usually I rely on my phone to tell the time and now I can just like look up. But some people have noted that it is in fact harder to find friends like during break or assemblies since you can't text them and ask like where they are or anything. But anyways, moving on, another student from Lake Oswego High School said, quote, "The cell phone policy seems slightly excessive. However, they have noticed themselves making connections they previously wouldn't have made, finding new confidence in their social skills, and reconnecting to the school community." End quote.
I really think this comment sums up what a lot of people are thinking about the policy. I also know that the part about making connections and just finding confidence in social skills is a really important part of what the school board was hoping would happen. The in person connections are so important to everyone's education, feeling like you belong, and just our well being during school. So it's definitely a positive review of the policy, and I just know that our community can grow from here.
For sure. I mean, I definitely think that I'm also making a lot of new connections and also, getting to know the people I've already known better now that we don't just resort to our phones. And another student from Lake Ridge said, quote, I think that the new phone policy is great for students to be more focused during classes. I also think that being phone free will allow friends to talk to each other more instead of staring at screens. Me and my friends used to be on our phones during lunch, but now we always talk and it's actually kind of fun. End quote.
Yeah, I've definitely found myself connecting with people more, and lunchtime has just been more full of conversation without everyone being quiet on their phones. And I've noticed that around my school as well, not just my friends. And I'm sure it's the same at Lake Oswego High School.
Yep.
And I know it's the same at Lake Ridge Middle School as well because my sister goes there and she said that her and her friends have been talking a lot.
Yeah, I've definitely seen all this at Lake Oswego High School, and I definitely agree. Now we have a comment from a student outside of our district, so they're not being affected by the policy. However, they are close with people who are, and they said, quote, observing the unwelcome reception and apparent lack of transparency and student involvement in the process of implementing the policy, I'm disappointed by phone bans at local schools. I think the best way to navigate this emerging issue would be through meaningful and inclusive conversations that address student voices and needs instead of leaving students in the dark. End quote.
I think it's really interesting to see what someone who is not affected by the policy thinks about it. We are hoping that as time goes on, students are able to continue voicing their opinions. Things will fit into place as the learning community continues to mold to the new policy.
We really appreciate all of the students who took the time to share their thoughts. It's definitely important to hear what everyone has to say, and so we just wanted to really thank everyone who shared.
Some things before we finish up that are not direct student comment. I've recognized that even some staff members, specifically some of my teachers, are also trying to figure out how to adapt to the new cell phone policy. This is really hard, especially if they use cell phones as a part of their curriculum in the past, like for filming videos or as a timer. But I think that everyone is slowly figuring things out and how to, change things in their classroom. It's really comforting to know that we're all going through the same change, and it's not just students. The teachers are in this as well. It's really nice to see educators trying to do the best for their students and following the policy.
And we wanted to remind everyone that the Lake Oswego School District does have a list of frequently asked questions and their answers, including accommodations and specifics. We will include the link to this page in the bio of our follow-up Instagram post.
We hope you enjoyed hearing different opinions on the new cell phone policy. Feel free to share what you think about it in our Instagram comments. Thanks for listening to this episode. Bye!